see us on the stage, so I'm going to assume that you can see us. Okay. All right. So my name is Sean Elliott. I'm the employer relations consultant with the business programs here at Georgian. I specifically represent a lot of the co-op hiring that goes on and work with a number of our employer partners to help them with that. I'm also joined today, our technical support technician here with the event, because we were trying to do it all today. My colleague, Eric McRae. Eric McRae is our co-op consultant, working with a lot of our students and teaches a lot of the co-op and career prep courses. So he is going to be monitoring the chat here and helping us out with some of those questions. So I'm so excited to be able to share with you today some of our guest panelists. And so just as I'm getting started here, sorry, I just want to make sure we have everything right here on my screen. I think we do. Okay. So as part of the format, maybe I'll start off with, well, no, I'll go back to the introductions and then I'll explain what our format's going to be. Okay. So I'll start off with Alexa Newlove. So glad to have you here, Alexa. So yeah, you can wave. Alexa is a graduate of our business co-op diploma program. She's presently working at Electra Utilities as the network operations clerk. We have Paulo Cardoso. Paulo is a graduate of the actually two programs, right? Paulo, sorry. When you first came as an international student, you graduated from the English for Academic Purposes program. Is that correct? Yeah. And then secondly, you graduated from the Business Marketing Co-op diploma. Actually, Paulo had the opportunity to work for the college for a few years after he graduated, and one of the most recent roles was with the International Center, and is presently working for Wireless Wave as an assistant manager in Barrie. Sarah Bertucci, hopefully I said that right?
Yes.
Okay. Good to have you on, Sarah. Sarah is a graduate as well of two programs, the graduate of the Business Administration Marketing Co-op diploma, which I was reminded is a former program that no longer exists, but we're so glad that you were one of our grads from that. And then you went on to do your post-grad in Human Resources Management, and now works at Alumni, okay, in Richmond Hill in the finance department.
Yes.
And then we have Allison Houston, is a graduate of the Business Administration Human Resources Co-op Diploma Program. Is that right, Allison?
That's
okay.
right.
And also is a graduate of the Bachelor of Business Management degree at the University of Lethbridge after Allison finished at Georgian. Allison is a full-time entrepreneur and business owner of Flow Coach, and she also sits on the executive committee of the Alumni Association. So glad to have all of you here with us now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to get us started, to kick us off. I would like to just start off with each of you taking a turn, and maybe in the order in which I introduced you. If you could start off with this first question, and that is, can you share a brief summary of what brought you to the role that you're in now? And if you could kind of highlight how that started with your connection in the program that you took at Georgian College.
Okay, so start with me. Actually, I started with Electra for my co-op when I was at Georgian. So that was two years ago almost now. And I was previously working at another business, and they had reached out to me regarding an opportunity to come back and work for Electra. So obviously I took that opportunity as it came. Electra is a great organization to work for, a great opportunity for growth and development. And I guess if it wasn't for being in a co-op program, I wouldn't have an opportunity I wouldn't have probably had an opportunity to get in with Electra and then therefore have an opportunity to come back.
I guess it's my turn. So yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, Sean, for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone. So for me, everything is networking. Since I came into Canada 5 years ago and I started to study at Georgian College, I started to build my network in the college and in the community. For almost the 4 years that I was at the college, I was working with them, and I was working as well with a staffing agents. And I had the chance to meet a lot of local business owners, and that led me to the job where I am right now. So with Wireless Wave, I used to be a customer of them. If you guys don't know, Wireless Wave is a cell phone store owned by Rogers and Bell. And when I got introduced to this position, was a little bit not sure if that's what I want for me after taking a few years of school. But I saw a great opportunity, and the opportunity came because of my previous networking. So the way that it works is you get a basic salary plus commission, and you just make commission if you have a good networking. So my suggestion is create a good networking where you are right now, and take advantage of any opportunity that you can get right now, especially with this COVID crazy time. Yes, and I'm just happy to be doing that.
Excellent. Sarah?
Okay. When I finished the Human Resources program, it was 2008, and the economy, trying to break into HR was a little difficult with the economy, so I was unemployed for a bit. I ended up working in a shoe store in the Georgian Mall in Barrie. I was there for about 2.5 years until the shoe store closed due to the economy again. So I was unemployed for quite a while, almost 18 months. But when I left the Human Resource program, I did some volunteer work with the college with the Human Resources class that came after me, and I was able to make a lot of contacts networking. So when I was unemployed for the second time, one of the girls that I had connected with that was in the program after me, she contacted me because she was working at Alumni in the recruitment department, and they needed some help just for I'm going to say about 12 weeks. So I was able to do a contract with them for 12 weeks, just helping it with some recruitment stuff. Then I left and I was unemployed again for a little bit. However, they contacted me again after that for another contract, about a month in the finance department. And after I had finished that, they hired me full-time, and now I've been there almost 7 years.
Hi everyone, so nice to be here virtually. Thanks Sean for the great introduction and our other hosts today. So I'm a new entrepreneur and coach. I coach specifically to flow. So when I asked this question to myself, like how did I get here? And really it started at Georgian College. My 3 years there in a great co-op program where I started with RBC. And at RBC, I was a teller. So for my college co-op, I was a teller, always taking on different initiatives within the bank, whether it be promotions or training other staff. And I can attest to it to Sarah, because that's when I was graduating as well, when the economy hit. So I moved out west actually to Calgary, and that's probably where you see like University of Lethbridge. That's odd. So when I moved out west, the boom was there at the time, and I moved to more of a management role within the bank. I was manager of client care for about 3 years. So at RBC, they're really great at training. And part of that training program was Cohen Brown, a sports coaching program. So really how to coach to your staff with more of a sports influence, which was cool. So from there, I led to multiple different roles with different industries, from insurance, technology has been my latest and greatest, from data center business and a sales customer service experience role, handling some major accounts, and then recently cybersecurity. And it was really my interest in technology, fusing it with, I would say, like my coaching, loving people, being able to transform businesses, which is really awesome, I think. And recently led me to just wanting to do my own thing, which is coach. It's what I love to do. It's what I do, volunteering and supporting people with their careers, their entrepreneurial journeys, and enhancing it with flow. So if I have to look back, it really started with a co-op opportunity with the bank teller, leading to management positions and training programs, taking advantage of just continuously learning and getting curious.
Wow, that's excellent. I really hear a lot of common themes with all of you, in terms of making the most of opportunities, networking, just building on the experiences, the education that each of you had. But of course, the most common experience, of course, is the co-op opportunities. So thank you to hear the importance of that and how that kind of opened up some opportunities for some of you as well. I hear Sarah and Paulo, you both had some experience there through the mall. So, I guess at this point right now with COVID-19 and now moving into this emergency lockdown 3.0, I guess. It's really having quite the impact on businesses, on the economy. A lot of students are also thinking about, what does this mean for the upcoming maybe summer co-op or even future prospects. So the next question I'd like to ask you kind of relates more to, I guess, where we're at today, and looking at not only COVID-19, but what about the 21st century, and what are the top skills that we need to look at? I think because of COVID, now we're having to carry a whole nother set of skills. As we work from home, many of us working from home, having to juggle family needs, having to juggle maybe childcare, maybe even having to take care of other family members, plus be tech support, be veterinarian care for our animals at home, and you name it. So but on top of that, I guess just looking at the industry and looking at the experience that you have had, I'd like to ask you, what are the top skills? What would you say are the top skills that are needed in the 21st century? And in relationship to that, what advice would you give to students? If you can look back and thinking about, as you were looking forward. So anyone can jump in on this one. If you all want to try it, go for it. But whoever wants to jump in and take this question first, please do.
I think a big one, especially right now, is adaptability and being able to adapt to new culture, new changes in your workforce. And I think employers really value employees who can successfully manage changes in their workplace, and their maybe they're not used to this something, and they have to work together to mend and to learn how to adapt to new changes. And I'm seeing that it's kind of causing a drift in some employees here, and I think it's really important to learn how to adapt. And we're all at the end of the day have this same end goal, is to help with success and company success. And you have to kind of shift what you're used to and what you're comfortable doing, and adapt to changes. And I think that's, especially within this last year, has been a very important skill that employers are looking for from their employees, especially where I'm working now. It's a big change for a lot of I work in the lines department, so it's a lot of males and that are working on sites and wearing masks and socially distancing and all of those things that they're not used to doing, they have to adapt and learn how to do and be willing to do that as well.
Excellent. Yeah. And how much, we need that in so many ways with all that we're going through right now. Anyone else want to chip in there in terms of some of the top skills that you've seen that are needed?
So I agree 100% with Alexa. I think that is the number one things that employers are looking for it. Also the empathy, to take the time to listen. If you work with your customer service at any time, more than ever, people are having lots of mental health breakdowns. People are not used to be home so often. People are not used to don't see their friends, their family. Everybody knows that, especially during the winter with the weather that sometimes you don't want to leave your house. So I think have the empathy to understand, to listen, to ask questions, to understand about yourself, right? So I think that's something that's very important. And one of the most important things that we look at our company is understand that there is a lot of negative things going on this moment, but also try to think positive, right? Have the positive mind. Wake up in the morning and be happy to have a job, be happy that maybe you're not doing what you love, but a lot of people, they don't have what you have right now. So be grateful for that. And when you go to work, do your best. Ask about your coworkers, how they are doing. And I think the mental health part it's very, very important for all the companies. And I can talk about the company that they're working right now.
I love both of those comments. I think they're definitely on the forefront. When I look at performance and like when you're in your role, I think continuously learning is really important. We're really evolving. We saw that in the last year with digital transformation, like continuously getting curious with what you're going through, what your industry standards are, or if you're interested in a different industry, it's a really great opportunity. Self-motivating, getting focused, because there is so many distractions. Being self-motivated, being on that slight edge, and using your creativity. You're coming out of school, you have all these great ideas and learnings, and maybe more of that edge than someone that's been in the workplace for 15 years. You have a new knowledge that you can start to leverage and pair with those people that are in your new organization and really fuse them together and get some great ideas and get creative. I think creativity is something that we can really start to leverage.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too.
Yeah.
Creativity increases problem solving. It creativity, gets people to think outside of the box, and this eagerness helps to lead to new innovations and new ways to do things. And I think that's a great soft skill that employers definitely like to see in candidates.
As I think about some of the other questions that have been presented to us before, I just wanted to say, for the sake of our audience today, that we will provide some time closer to the end of the session where we'll have some Q&A as well. So if there's some questions that I have not covered with this, or there's some topics you'd like to build on, if you could just put those questions in the chat, and then we can take a look at them a little bit further on in our forum here today. What I'd like to do, my next question is maybe I'm going to start with maybe Sarah and Alexa, and then if you two could help with this question. What are some of the misconceptions that you might see students have in coming into the workforce? And maybe if you wanted to answer that question either from your own perspective, like did you have misconceptions when you went into certain areas or certain roles, either as a student or as a grad, or have you seen other students with misconceptions? So, are there some kind of myths that had to be broken down as you gained that actual experience in the field? So maybe Sarah, if you could start off with that question, and then maybe Alexa, and then the other two want to jump in. If you have anything else you want to add, feel free.
Okay. I think some of the misconceptions I'm going to say students might have going into, so they might have really high expectations about a certain, I'm going to say role, but it's important to keep an open mind when going into something, because you might think the role might start off a certain way, but it might lead to a lot more. You just need to time. I know one of the co-ops I did for human resources, that happened to me actually. I did a co-op for human resources at Soldiers Memorial Hospital in Aurelia, and it was supposed to be a payroll and benefits co-op. So I was very excited to be learning about payroll and benefits. However, when I got into it, it kind of went more towards the staffing office and dealing with when staff calls in sick. And it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I would have liked to have learned more about payroll and benefits.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with what you were saying there, Sarah. It's sometimes in my own experience, I've taken a job and it wasn't really what I had thought and what they had portrayed the job to be. And, you know, it's, don't be afraid to speak up and, you know, ask questions of what, you know, what you will be doing or what you will be learning and what you thought maybe the job was and what they had expressed to you it was. And then, you know, don't be afraid to, I mean, I think always you shouldn't leave a job unless you have another opportunity lined up. You know, that's preferable. But, you know, if it's not what you want to do and you're not happy doing it, then don't be afraid to try something else. And for myself, I don't know if it's necessarily a misconception, but it's one where hesitation, where if you see a job that you'd really like to apply to, but then you don't because you don't meet 100% of the requirements. I think that's a big thing where students get afraid and not apply to things because they don't meet 100% of those requirements or they don't have the experience that they're looking for. And you know, I urge anyone to apply to anything that they want. You know, worst case scenario, they don't reach out to you. But I think it's important to get your name out there and show employers that you are interested. And that's kind of the best thing that you can do for yourself is to keep apply to everything, and you never know what will happen.
I remember you living that out, Alexa.
Yeah.
I remember
Yes,
you doing
I like
that. I remember
to.
you had a few, and because of that very thing, you applied to a number of opportunities, and you know, sometimes we have a certain expectation. Well, it's going to happen this way or that way, but until you actually have that offer in your hand, you don't really know. So you've got to keep keep
Exactly.
networking, keep applying, keep trying things.
Yeah,
I guess
and
that's
that's
continued on. Sorry, go.
very important. You know, a lot of the jobs that I've gotten is because of referrals or you know, me trying to find who the hiring manager is and reaching out to them, you know, instead of just applying on the general Indeed ad. Maybe you call and try to get in touch with someone who's doing the hiring and, you know, introduce yourself and show them, you know, you're interested and you applied. And if you have the time, I'd love for you to look over my resume and, you know, provide me with any feedback that you would have. I'm just to get your name out there and people to see, you know, hey, there's that girl that applied, or that, you know, that man who applied. And that's a lot of the jobs that I've gotten was from referral or networking, and I know someone and they know someone and they're hiring, and I'm like, you know, and I'm doing that right now actually, like with Electra. My it's a contract, so it ends the end of April, and I'm reaching out now to, employers that I knew that were hiring last year when I was looking for a job. And I sent my resume off to someone, and hopefully I hear back from her. But yeah, it's all about, getting your name out there, and that's how people remember you. And you're more likely to get an interview once you keep pushing them and following up. And if they don't respond to your email, follow up in a week. It really doesn't look bad on you at all. It just looks and shows the employer that you're eager and interested to work for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Paulo, maybe just to kind of build on that, I guess, in your experience, what is different about the way that your organization recruits employees, maybe than what you would have saw when you were a student?
Okay, so for me, when I used to be a student at college, I used to be very involved with the college. So I was the vice president for the GCSA for 3 years. And I was able to connect with a lot of business, local business in Simcoe County and Muskoka area, and some GTA's business that want to come to the college to provide or sell some type of service for students. And this company, Wireless Wave, they used to go every year for the orientation day, orientation week, and have a booth there to offer phones and phones plans for the students. And during that time, they start to notice students that are very engaged with other students. So that's the way that they attract talent. They send the staff to schools, to colleges, to universities. Sometimes in the mall, we have staff who walk in the mall and looking to people talking to other people. And that's what the company are looking. It's people that has the network, people that is trustable. So that's some tools that they use. Of course, they have social media. Today, social media it's crazy, especially TikTok, LinkedIn. I think right now TikTok is the number one for recruiting for anything. But everything, again, it's come down to network, as Alexa was saying, as everyone said here before. It's not just who you know, but how people know who you are, right? It's not knowing a lot of people, but what do you bring back to the community? What are you doing to show yourself to people? And I'm sure that during this event today, we have some newcomers, some immigrants, some international students here. And guys, I can tell you one thing. You can see my English is not perfect. The companies, they don't care for that. They care if you have the soft skills. They care if you care about the company. They care about the customer service. They care the way that you are. So don't be afraid. Do what Alex and everyone said here. Apply for jobs that you want. Apply for jobs that sometimes you don't think you're gonna get. Well, in Portuguese, in Brazil, we have an expression. If I do the translation, means like, you already have a no as an answer, so why not try, right? So why you're not gonna try? You're not gonna lose anything. The minimum that's gonna happen, nobody's gonna answer. Why not?
Yeah.
And the show knows. And with the college, with the co-op, I was able to. I didn't want to take a co-op with any company because I was not able to find a co-op that attracted me, that make me excited for it. So what did I do? For 8 months, I worked as a volunteer, create my own project. I created a project. I presented this project for the college and for the city of Barrie and Simcoe County. And they gave to this project $100,000. And they sent myself and a Canadian student to East Asia to promote the city of Barrie, to promote Georgian College, recruit students, build a partnership with the companies abroad to hire graduate student from the college. And it was because I tried, and a lot of people told me, you're just waste your time. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get. And I got the project, I got the job, I got paid. I traveled 3 months in 45 cities in 3 countries. And the best part is that my Canadian student, my partner on that time, became my wife.
Oh, that's how you do it.
I won in the lottery.
Well, Paula, you just gave me an answer, because I was actually thinking my next question I was wanting to ask Allison. I was going to try and tie in what happens when some of the dreams and the interests or the goals or the skills that you want to build go beyond your existing qualifications, maybe even at Georgian. Where might that take you, and how could that even lead into maybe even some entrepreneurial activities? And look at that, you just brought up a great idea, good segue. Let's head it over to Allison. Allison, could you tell us a little bit about, what do you do in that case? Like, you're now in that spot where you're, talking about some entrepreneurial work and initiatives that you're taking on, and can you tell us a little bit about your journey around how you had to go beyond even what you got at Georgian? Like, did you do some research around that, or did it just kind of come on to you naturally?
I feel a lot of it comes with like your mindset, and there's like tons of books, but the first one that comes up is just having that growth mindset, that possibility thinking, and doing what you really love, like still sticking with things that you're passionate about, and maybe volunteering in those ways, getting curious with different industries, having your values set in the line so that you're going through to those companies as well that have those same values. And you just continuously, like for me, it was just getting curious of things that I was interested in. Going from an HR manager at a corporate insurance brokerage to data center, and having more of a customer service sales focus was very different. However, the opportunity at the time was with a really great firm, and just something brand new that I wanted to give it a shot. So it was really not just that opportunity, but the people that I met along the way that I created that synergy with. And then it just came into technology and getting curious about what technology is going to bring. And when I went to school, technology was very different. Advertising and marketing was very, very different. So I think by staying curious and just expanding my mindset and having that growth mindset where there is possibilities. So that idea that I would have about coaching in different ways or managing and leading in different ways and pairing it with technology led me to where I am right now. And prior to this, it was cybersecurity, and that's very different than data center business. So learning that new language, understanding what cybersecurity can bring to an organization and leverage it. But really, when it came back to it, it was more of some of my extracurricular activities, like coaching kids for their goals of contribution. So not only coaching at work, but having that as part of what I do in my extracurriculars and continue to learn and grow. So when I wanted to have this business, a lot of my interest was from my network with women in technology, expanding it really globally because they're a global network, and earning clients that way. So I was still in technology, which I love. And I think that it's just so cool, and you can continue to grow and thrive in technology. And mirroring it with the human component, like we need human beings behind technology and coach to that. So it just was like a love of two different areas in my life. And when I just went for it, it's having that courage and that bravery just to step into it and know that you're going to fail, you're going to fall on your face sometimes, and then you're going to have those really big breakthroughs that lead to something else and that new connection. And it's just knowing that every opportunity is a great opportunity and a learning opportunity.
Now, some of you talked about, creativity, adaptability. Paul, you even mentioned about the importance of, if you have an idea yourself, you could even pursue that and see, how that might fit with something else. Like for yourself, you were volunteering and you were looking at an opportunity to explore, and that turned into something that opened up a whole nother set of adventures, I guess you could say. What do you do? Like, what can you talk about, folks, around the whole idea of using those creativity skills, or that creativity and building entrepreneurial skills and the things that you're doing today? We're actually, even at the college, we're being asked from employers, how can students come in and help us to look at a whole new way of doing business? Maybe it's, they're launching a digital marketing stream of how to promote to their companies. maybe they're now looking at how to build up their social media, and they really don't know how to launch into that. What do you do in a situation where you have to now, build some new tools and look at new things? What kind of tips or advice would you have for students today in that area?
So, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to start. I think for the students, the first step that they should be doing, that I did, my wife did, and was really helpful, it was be connect, for instance, with the HBAC, Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center at the college. It's a free service, and they will help you with all your ideas. If you want to become an entrepreneur, a coach, anything that you want, they will support you with that. And if the students doesn't know, the HBAC is one of the top 4 or 5 entrepreneurship centers in college, the best in colleges in the world. So they have a really good mentorship that can help with that. The other part is, I think, from my friends that are finishing school right now or looking for jobs or just graduated, the amount of time they're spending playing games or being on their phones or things like that waste their time in a certain way. I think they should use that time to advance their skills. If they like social media, they should be looking, for instance, on Facebook. The algorithms change every week, so they should be always up to date about what they truly love. And to be completely honest, my wife, for instance, she works for the Digital Main Street. It's a program in Simcoe County in Muskoka. It's a government-funded program, and they have been helping around 300 local business since the COVID start with the digital market presence. And all of those people that work in this program are Georgian college or students or graduated. So they took the chance, they applied, they are not scared to do mistakes. So I think that is one thing that I want to suggest to you. If you like something, take the time to study that thing, but study every day. And as Alison said, it's very important mindset. Creating new habits, creating new habits that's going to change a few things that's not helping you today, but it's going to help you not just in your personal level, but also in your professional level.
One thing I just add in, and I love all those points, and one thing that just popped in is saying yes, to explore the possibility. Yeah. Something I know what I know, and let's say Sarah and Alexa and Paulo, you know what you know, and sometimes it could very contradict what I think I know. So by blending in and we're brainstorming and we're bringing out new ideas, it's just saying, yeah, you know what, let's rabbit hole down that. Let's do this because the famous idea of just Henry Ford wanting to transformate the auto industry. Before that was horses. How could you make horses go faster? Well, you build a vehicle. So that's saying yes to a brand new idea. And with technology, again, it's just cool to say yes to great creative ideas, and saying yes will just continue to build that momentum.
Definitely. I think that's a great point, Allison. I think too, and even just, accepting the fact that you might not have all the answers on how to develop their business, but knowing that you will find those answers out. You will do whatever it takes, the research, the time to figure out how to develop their business or their social media or whatever it is. Just coming out of school, you might not have a lot of those answers, but I think it takes a special individual and a go-getter to find those out and want to help their business succeed. And I think that's a great quality to have too. Just coming out newly into the workforce is being a go-getter and finding the answers to your employer's questions.
I like that, thought. Yes, just say yes. I mean, I think Paulo, you mentioned earlier too. Why not? Yeah. We were thinking even about this forum for an example, and we've been doing something similar to this once a year, and then even I think it was 2 years ago we were kind of at capacity. We had to move it to a larger theater at the college, and then we were getting ready to prepare for the next year's event, and then COVID hits. The consideration was, well, I guess we can't do it. But the reason for this forum, for many of you watching today, who may be participating with some of our extra sessions that we're going to be having with our employers later on, it's really about creating some of those meaningful connections between employers and students. Well, how much harder is it now during COVID? So why not is what we said, right? Why not? Why not do it? Okay, well, we're going to do it virtual. How are we going to do that? What if it doesn't go well? Well, why not? Try it. Let's say yes and see where we can go with that. So this in itself is a response to that. And so hopefully this is an encouragement to you as students and graduates and people forging their direction in their career. Give it a try. See where that may take you. Look at the how that experience can be a part of things. So I'm just looking at our time, and it's 3:42 right now. So what we're going to do momentarily, if you have any questions, if you could just put them into the chat section. If there's some things that we haven't covered that you would like us to cover before we finish up our time together today, that would be great. I'm not actually closing this time right now. We're going to continue on with a few more questions. I do have more if we don't have any specific ones that people would like us to cover. But I also just would like to remind everyone that there are 2 more sessions after today, or after this time right here, this forum. So just a little bit of a plug. After this time from 4 till 5, GCSA is sponsoring today's events. GCSA is actually going to be hosting a session on Zoom, and we have put that into the schedule of the events and also put the detail in the sessions. But they're going to be doing some fun bingo and offering some prizes. So just to have a bit of a break for the career day today. And then from 5 to 6, we have as many as 14, 15 different sessions with different employers and organizations where you can connect with them to hear about their career pathways, as well as to hear about industry expectations to kind of build on a little bit more of what we're discussing in this forum here today. That will include organizations like Acadium, RBC, CIBC, BDO Canada, PepsiCo, Baker Tilly, Tooktree Passive Homes, Edana Integrated Marketing, Emco Corporation, Longevity Holdings, Aurelia's Wine Experience. No, we can't taste, in person today. Airy Fleet and the Canadian Mental Health Association, as well as Allison is going to be leading a discussion about entrepreneurial initiatives. And so looking forward to having you join us from 5 to 6. It'll be on the same platform. And when you come in, you'll actually click on sessions instead of the stage. Okay. So that little plug being said, our little commercial break, I'd like to continue on with some questions and see if there's any that have come up here so far in the chat. And just looking here, I don't see any specific questions. So I'll continue on here. I'd like to ask you, I don't know if we've kind of covered some things, but if we haven't, I'd like to ask you about the tools and the co-op aspect of things. So what, is there anything that we haven't covered that you think you would like to talk about in terms of folks, how helpful was your co-op experience or field placement? I'm not sure, what your program involved. How important was that experiential learning in helping you to discover where you wanted to go and where you are now? And were there particular tools that you had to gain in that process?
So for myself, I'm sorry, Georgian College, I love the college, but what made all the difference for me was the co-op. Okay, everything that I learn in class, I can read a book, I can watch a series, and I will learn with. Okay, but the
Why
co-op,
are you saying sorry?
I don't know. I don't want to be right. That guy.
That's what it's all about.
My point is that the co-op is that what makes the difference. Of course, last year I was working for another company, and we hired around 30 hospitality students for the co-op for the company that was working. And I'm gonna be completely honest. It was so challenging to find good candidates because students didn't take the time to do the proper resume as was taught in class. The student didn't take the time to create a cover letter specific for that company. Some students, they came to the interview, they didn't know how to pronounce the company's name that they was doing the interview. So be prepared, right? The co-op is the best tool that you can get in the college. Okay, I used to be a lawyer in Brazil. I did my co-op in the law in Brazil. It was the best part of the university over there. Here, with the college, the best part was the co-op. A lot of people, when I used to be in the college, they used to complain, oh, my co-op advisor is not helping me get the job. I'm not finding a co-op. It's so hard to find a job. It's so hard to do this. It's not. You just have to start to look earlier than other people. And as everyone here knows, everyone here said before, you just have to try, right? The co-op, it makes the difference. You can say Alexa, what she said before. She is working in a company where she did her co-op as well. So there we go. Things like that makes the difference.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you were saying, Paulo, especially with being prepared for your interviews. I think that is a huge thing that I don't think anyone really told me about or said I should do. I mean, I would think it would be common sense, but I certainly never used to research the companies I was applying for. I would just see a job ad and apply to it and go to the interview, and they never really asked me about them or anything I knew. But it wasn't until I started applying for co-ops and I found, I should really take this a little bit more seriously and really research the companies that I'm applying to, so I am prepared for interviews. And I found almost every single interview I had, they asked, can you tell me, something about Electra? Can you tell me, who our board of directors are? Can you tell me all these certain things? And I'm like, when I left, I was like, good thing I, was prepared for those questions, because it, would be a very awkward situation if you said, I really love to work here, but I don't know anything about your company. And I think it's very, very important to prepare for interviews and have a cover letter. And I think you should take advantage of the workshops that the co-op classes provide. They have like the resume workshops. And I think you should really take advantage of those, because I think a good resume is where you have to start, and that is their first impression of you as a professional asset is your resume. And if your resume has, all these grammar mistakes and it's not really put together well, that's their first impression of you, and chances are you might not hear back from them if you didn't put effort into making your resume kind of market yourself. And I think you should kind of alter your resume to every job you apply for. It shouldn't be just one generic resume that you send off to every company. You should read what they're looking for in a job and kind of alter and market yourself to those strengths, and provide examples in your cover letter, or how you've demonstrated those skills in an example, or I think it's really important that you take time and I was lucky enough to work with one of the HR ladies here, and she went over my resume and kind of tweaked it a bit, and which is great. I think you should take advantage of any opportunity that you have to do that, or the co-op workshops that don't think I took advantage of at that time, but now I realize how important it is to have a strong resume and cover letter, and that's how you stand out from other candidates is, your resume, I think.
Sorry,
that's
Sean.
a good point.
Can I just?
I'll let you say something there, Paulo. But I just wondered, Sarah, too, if you had any comments about resumes and that kind of thing. But Paulo, go ahead.
No, I just want to answer Darshan. Sorry if I didn't pronounce well his name. He asked a question on the group. What is the one single thing that employees look up in a candidate? And I think you have to learn about the culture, the company culture. I think the first thing to see if it matches with yours, right? And what Alexa said, and the first thing is the adaptability. You need to be able to go at work with an open mind. So one thing, my suggestion is be open-minded. When you go to work, have zero expectation. And I learned this at the college with Nancy Blaine that used to work there. And she always told me, Paulo, have zero expectation, because when you have expectation and things don't go the way that you want, you're not going to be happy. So when you go to work, when you go to an interview, when you go to do anything, be positive in mind, but have zero expectation, because you're not going to be disappointed with anything.
That's a really good point. We get so tied up in that because it affects us so much personally. But it's business, right? In a sense, like you think about the interviewers as they're conducting the interview, it's just business. But it's hard, but that's a good reminder. Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Sarah?
I think it's important to keep an open mind, and also I know like a lot of companies, they want to make sure you're a good fit when you apply for certain positions, but learning and adapting to what the company, like the processes and how the company operates is important. I found for me, the co-ops really helped me, for lack of a better word, like come out of my shell. Like, I don't know, I was quite reserved, I guess, and it helped me to break out.
That's good. That's really helpful. And I think it's one thing to learn something in the class, but then when you get out and you have to experience what the expectations are in the industry through something like a co-op, sometimes it can help highlight what you saw in school. In other ways, it can also drive you back to school and go, oh, you know what? I think I need to take another look at this. Exactly. Allison, I'm going to ask you this question because of your work with the Alumni Association as well. And just wondering, I guess, how important is it, as you're carving out your career, is it to maybe volunteer, connect with other organizations as you're building your career, and can that tie in with your education and your career plans?
Absolutely. I think it's critical, to be honest. Like, it's your volunteer work, how you can be of service, like really contribute your talents and your time to different organizations is really a gift. Like, each one of you, I'm sure, have just different areas of expertise. You get to grow your own experience because you're coming out now. You have your co-op program. It might be like a year of experience. If you start volunteering in areas that you're really interested in, not only are you volunteering and enjoying it, but you're giving back to your community. I have volunteered with like Junior Achievement, multiple different organizations, just doing little things here and there. Recently, Future Possibility for Kids. The network that you create is incredible. You're with like-minded people. I've had different opportunities come through, and it expands my knowledge. It challenges me in different ways, and I can bring all of that into my work as well, so that I'm not only like growing within my career, I might be growing my leadership skills, growing my ability to have conversations like this, or coach a little bit differently with a new technique. And there's just always, I think, a bigger win-win when we contribute to our communities that are closest to us. And it's just such a give back. I think our communities, especially right now during COVID, are challenged in different ways and really need the support. And I know all of us have so much to offer, not only for our employers, but for those organizations that need the help.
Paulo, you're going to say something.
No, I know that we're short on time. I just wanted to thank you. I'm getting so many messages from students on my LinkedIn right now. Thank you everyone for sending these messages. It's so nice to connect with all of you. I really like the message of bring lands down. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it that well. Thanks, Lynn. Bring. It's very nice to see that the students, they are actually engaged with this panel, because this is the new way that the company is gonna be working from now on. Okay, I know my cousin, he's the director of Nissan Infinity here in Canada, and Infinity and Nissan already informed that until the end of 2022, all the employees are gonna be working like that from home. So it's very nice to see that everyone is engaging.
I see that there was a question here regarding resumes, and this individual has read many articles that nowadays the HR has robo-scanners for sorting the resumes. So how can someone be unique in that situation? I think that's when you take a look at their job posting and you put the keywords that they're looking for in your resume. So when they scan your resume, those keywords will pop up, and there you go. There, it's not like you're, altering your strengths and your skills and your experience. It's putting those keywords in your resume and expanding on it, but making sure you have the key requirements in your resume. So when they do scan it, those things pop up.
That's a really good point, Alexa.
Yeah.
Think about it. What are we told day in, day out? In our courses, don't plagiarize, don't copy.
Yes.
Right? But then we get in the job search and we got to start copying things, right? Like, we have to pay attention to what's actually in the job posting, and what is it that we have from our experience that we can now use those words and put them in the resume. We think, we've got to be creative. Unfortunately, we're going to end up missing out on that opportunity. Submitting the application and the resume is not the time to get creative. You can wait for that later. But I'm just taking a look at our time. We are at 3:59 here, and so our time has come to a conclusion here. Feel free to continue adding stuff in the chat. We'll try to respond to that by typing in the chat. Thank you very much, Paulo, too, for pointing out some of those questions. I need to have you on as maybe our moderator next time. That's good. But what I'd like to do is also just mention that recently we had the opportunity to kind of sit down and get some more stories and testimonies from some of our grads that really back up, what many of our panelists have already said here today. And so I just shared that link with you in the chat there. So if you wanted to check that out at a later point, feel free. Allison, Alexa, Paulo, Sarah, thank you so much for the time that you spent to share your insights today around your career pathways, your employer experiences, and what you saw in industry expectations. So thank you so much for taking this time to share with us today. It has been superb. We could go on probably for another couple of hours on this. I know there's so many neat things, but just to have the diversity of experiences that you have had to share with us today is so, so valuable. Thank you so much. I'm sure I can speak on not only behalf of the department, but all the students that were watching here today. It has been superb. So what I'd like to do at this point for everyone's benefit here is just to say that we are now moving into our next session of the day that GCSA is sponsoring. And so they are going to be going to a Zoom format, and I have put the Zoom meeting link in the forum. Now they have said that they're gonna have a gradual connection there, so if you don't see anything right away, that's fine. If you need to use the washroom and come in a few minutes, you can do that. But I'm just gonna say that on that Zoom forum, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a bit of a break from the career day today. There's going to be some prizes there, so you want to take part in that. And then at 5 p.m., please come back to this forum here in Hopin. Okay? As I was saying, we have 14, 15 different employer sessions from a variety of companies that are hiring for part-time, for co-op. They're looking for field placement students. They're looking for graduates. So it's quite a variety. Please jump in on that session. We'd encourage you that if you are there, please go into each session for about 10 minutes and then jump into another one. It's going to be a great opportunity to connect with lots of companies there at 5 o'clock. Okay?
Sean, just a quick thing. Guys, all the students, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to write my number and my email on the chat. Send me an email, text message. I have so many connections here. I'll be more than happy to try to help you guys find a job. I cannot promise that I'm gonna make you get the job, but I can try to connect you guys. And also, if you need a new cell phone, internet home, contact me.
I got my phone from Wireless Wave.
Well, welcome to Paulo. That's awesome. So anytime you guys need anything, come talk to me.
I
Excellent.
definitely will.
Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate that. All right. Have a great day. We're going to sign off here on the stage, but we will still remain available on this forum. If you have any questions, you can type it in the chat. And like I said, go on to the Zoom format to participate in the GCSA session for the next hour. And then we'll be back here again at 5 with some employer sessions. And then you'll click the session button. Okay. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great day.
Take care.